Notion just made one of the biggest shifts in the company's histories, and most people haven't caught on yet. They've launched custom agents, autonomous AI agents that live within your workspace, run on triggers and schedules, and handle repetitive workflows 24/7. In this video, I'm joined by Simon Pittman to break down exactly how custom agents work, what Notion credits cost, and why this signals Notion's shift from a docs tool into an AI-powered operating system.
The Notion agent has completely transformed it. Like Notion 3.0, I think they kind of talked about Notion 2.0 was about databases and your information and you in Notion. Notion 3.0 is about agentic workflows, I think. And it really is a different thing. And I think people get confused about the levels of Notion AI, even just when agent was added. So I think the first place to start with is custom agents are things that operate on a trigger and work while you sleep or for you. I think your personal agent in Notion, you should think of it as the agent that works with you. It's your personal assistant, and it has all of the context that you have in Notion and can do everything you do in Notion. The custom agents are really different in the fact that they are the thing that many people think about when they think about an agent, something that can automatically work separately to you, but they're credit-based and outside of the plan. So that's been the big noise, and I think it's worth a conversation. My workspace for better creating, we have a kind of business operating system, and we kind of design an interface which is really human-facing, which means that, I can go and look at our projects and get the views that we've built out to show us things. And this is kind of, stuff that I've built out to show me where certain things are at. And then I'm using custom agents down here on the left side. These are all my custom agents that are doing various things for me. But maybe it's worth kind of just talking about what some of these do compared to what my personal agent does. So I have a template called Agent OS. And one of the things that really made this take off when they originally launched personal agents is that your personal agents works down in the bottom right, and you can pick your models, as we talked about, and you can personalize it and give it instructions. So this is my personal version of those instructions. And I think the unique thing we did here is this is how I mostly use it day to day, and we will get onto custom agents, but I use it for coaching strategists and help. And what I've done with my personal agent is create a mode picker. So whatever I ask the agent, it goes into a specialist set of agent instructions. So if I want to make a decision, it will jump into the decision-making coach and follow a set of instructions. And essentially what agents are an agent is a set of instructions with a purpose, what it does, what it's meant to do. It has access to specific context, certain pages that you want it to read, or information, and then it has tools that it can call upon to do that action. With these agents, you talk to them, you work alongside them. So one of my favorite things that I've been doing with these agents is like I have a YouTube, where is it? Yeah, one of my favorites is this, a YouTube content expert, and it's got a knowledge base of tons of principles listed inside it. So when I ask it questions, I say, let's package a video. It will base it on a load of proven frameworks and ideas and go, hang on, this is a packaging framework. So it's totally transforming like accountability and the clarity. So that's what I've been doing with those. But I think probably the exciting bit about custom agents is that you can then automate them. So a really obvious one would be something like Walt. So custom agents look like this. We've started naming them because we're chatting to them in Slack.
You've gone full agent pill, haven't you?
Well, I wasn't going to do this. I was calling it like weekly email briefing agent.
Yeah. But
then you get messages from them and it goes, hi, this is the weekly email briefing agent. And actually,
so it makes more sense to call him Walt.
Well, I think we were just like, well, there's a kind of weird shorthand for it. And it really is like, I guess I did this to kind of emphasize in my demos that they are more like teammates, where the other thing is a system you're using. You're talking to teammates. So custom agents look a bit like this. You can see in this view that you have a bit of information, which is probably the most important thing for everyone to remember. They are credit-based. And right now you can use up as many credits as you like. And it costs a bit of money to build them because you build them with the agent. And it also costs a bit of money to run them. But if it's a high return on investment and it will save you time or improve your work, it's really worthwhile. So you have settings and you can trigger it. So this one goes every Monday at 7 a.m. or I can mention it or chat to it to trigger it. It has its instructions, like those personal agent instructions. This is a kind of template, but this is the one I'm using. And it has a workflow. This one will email me with an overview of everything that's going on for the week, saying this is what you've got to focus on. It's a high pressure thing, whatever. Yeah. And then it has access to certain pages, so it can then send me information. And it's amazing what it does. This has been really helpful for going, oh, wait a minute, I almost forgot that. And yes, it is a bit pressured at the start of the week. So this is really cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to sort of like naming them is one of these difficult things that people are starting to understand, that actually they are becoming teammates in your system. And I think when people set them up, I think this is like definitely how last week when I started playing around with this, I think one of the biggest problems is that obviously that initial cost to set them up is okay for now, but what are sort of common or typical things that people get wrong when they set up an agent for the first time? Like could be model, instructions, or other elements. Like what do you think works best?
I think probably the key thing is what is a very specific outcome and task you want it to do. I think people can try and get agents to be a kind of do all of this for me as an assistant. And so I think the more specific you are, and therefore the more economical you are with the instructions within it, the better it will be. So let me give you another example. Alf is quite simple. So I put affiliate links to things on my YouTube videos, and all he does is whenever a property is updated, this is something that we were testing out, I paste my YouTube description into a property on the video page, and it will spot that and then extract all of the affiliate links, add them to a database in our Notion page, and it updates my website automatically with those affiliate links. And it's just a really simple process, which is busy work. So I think having that clarity of kind of being, this is an overview of what you do, and these are your two data sources. Like this is where you find information, this is where you put the results. Being really clear about what the job is, the purpose. Examples and formatting of what you want them to output. I think sometimes we're not clear about this is what a good result would look like. This is what a bad result would look like. This is a really good thing. And really, I think rules and what not to do. So essentially you would call those guardrails probably in prompt engineering. And I think this probably could be even simpler. So I think that's number one, keep a simple focus and then think about being really clear. What context does it need? What is its main objective? What shouldn't it do? And, what are the guardrails for if it goes wrong? If it does something wrong.
Yeah. No, that's really good advice. I think like even when I was setting up this week, I didn't think about how small you can go. Like in my opinion, like maybe affiliate link extractor might be too small, but actually, like you said, it's a hyper specific situation that there's an outcome orientated. So that's really helpful for people that don't understand that. Just to touch on the model side of stuff, with for example, with Alf, would you set up the model to be a lower cost model because that is more of a defined outcome, if that makes sense, not a complex outcome?
Absolutely. And I think the big question is cost here and efficiency. The key job I think you have with an agent like this is making sure that it's token efficient and that you're using the most efficient model for the job. So if it's a big complex kind of analysis that you need to do, that might be something where you want it to draw lots of information, plan everything together, put it all out. that would be worth using something like Opus, where that's going to be a super expensive model, Opus 4.6, and you really want to pick when you use it. You use up your credits very quickly. I think even Sonnet is reasonably expensive here. Like, just picking kind of, these are all quite big options. So I'm hoping that Notion will give us things like Haiku, which has been mentioned by Akshay at Notion, saying if you want to do a simple thing, use Haiku. I want to see those options so that you can use a smaller model for a simpler thing. It would make
it's probably for the setup that there is. You probably need the best models for setup. So potentially after the May date, it becomes more pick and choose. Probably.
Yeah, probably. And like, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because like, if I go to Notion AI, you have a new view in your settings, Notion AI. If you go to Notion credits, I think this gives a little understanding of like where we're at. So Merrill, who is a meeting organizer, she is pretty cool in that she will essentially, every time I have a meeting, I add a meeting to my Gmail. So this is another good use of an agent around a process. So it might be a specific thing it does, or it might just be a specific part of your work that has multiple steps, but is always pretty clear. So that is, I book a meeting which has a conferencing call on it. So Merrill will go, a meeting has been added to the calendar. It has conferencing. This is a real meeting. It sets up a new meeting note in my meeting notes database. Maybe I should show you this. She will essentially has a bunch of instructions to automatically sync calendar events to my meeting notes database, extract the names of people, internal or external, that are in that meeting, check it against the CRM and add them if they don't exist, or link them to the meeting, and then link internal people. And then she'll create that thing with an AI meeting note thing in it. And then when the meeting happens, it will, once I click transcribe on that meeting in, hang on, like in something like this. I could mention Merrill once it's finished, whatever. There she is. And by doing that, I would then have her completely transcribe it, take the transcription, write a summary, send it in Slack, tagging the people in my team, and then draft an email in Gmail to the external guests ready for me to send. So if you think about that as a client flow, that's absolutely amazing because it just does all of that admin and summarizes everything for you. But interestingly, if you then go and look at what she costs to do that, it's quite expensive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a layer to it where that multiplayer element is not quite there for other organizations. Like, everyone in your team can start doing that and see the results, which is really good. But yeah, I mean, my opinion on the custom agent side is like this event or token based model will probably be the future of everything. Because like, you can't keep running AI in like this subscription model. I think it's just not effective. But it allows people to then go, was this worth £200? Was this worth £300? But it also allows you to scale up things and then scale down things. Like, because if, like, there are probably systems and organizations in every team where you may hire somebody to do it, but that hiring process and bringing on board or getting a freelancer, there's like cost to doing that. And then toning it down at the same time is quite also cost intensive as well. So if you're cutting that cost and you're able to tone down faster, that, I think it's absolutely fine. I think it will be the future. And it's good that they're setting this up till May, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. It gives everyone a chance to test it out, for them to test it out. But I think that is the big perspective on it, isn't it? Exactly. That the reaction when we all talked about the custom agents launch was, wow, this is incredible. Businesses at the right scale went, oh my goodness, this is going to be a game changer. A lot of individuals and smaller businesses went, there's no point, I can't afford this. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I totally agree with you. So my first reaction was, a month on this, it's predicting it would cost me around about 35,700 credits. So that is essentially 360 $70 ish.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is, because it's 1,000 credits
Yes.
to $10.
I should have.
Yeah,
My maths is going downhill.
No, I think trust me on that, because I looked at it and went, okay, it's not doing loads, they're not massive things, but they're lots of little bits and bobs, like meeting organization, a weekly brief. I need to show you Andrea, because she's really cool. She's a customer service system that's amazing. But actually, you go, well, that's £350 a month. That's a lot for an individual who doesn't have a business.
Yes.
If you run a business and it solves you a load of problems, that's a fraction of someone's wage, probably saving them 20 hours a week, where they can now leverage that time on higher impact stuff. And what I think is like really interesting is, I have colleagues who run agencies who have got their colleagues. I did an interview about this. They got their colleagues. They're like, if you take a week to train out this agent to do that process that takes you 20 hours a week, if you take a week doing that of your time, and then it costs us this amount, that's fantastic, because I can get you on higher leverage, more exciting work.
Yes, yeah.
And it's really interesting in that sense. I think that's the shift that we need to look at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're right. It's like that context window at the start is like so important. It's like the output will be so much bigger once you give the input at the start of your time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we're aligned on that page. Like, I think there's naturally like that social media hype of like, I can't afford this, but it like we've definitely gone from like it internally as well, like from running, I don't know, $400-500 worth of subscription costs to around about $250 through Claude, and like that shift change has been massive. But we're also getting the same output done, if that makes sense.
I thought this is a really good example of like the power of Notion's context, connectors, and agents automated. This is where I think Notion are really like making this accessible and probably the most powerful version right now. So Andrea is my weekly customer services analyzer. So we get a lot of people buying templates, icon packs, Notion systems to organize their work from Better Creating. And so I have a Notion at Better Creating email account, which is run by my colleague, Lisa. But when we have a conversation, we don't quite know what the overall, she's just doing the work, and we don't quite know what the overall picture is. Now, in the long term, this could probably answer a lot of the queries based on a database of responses really effectively. But at this point, we just want to use this not too expensively and just have it summarize what's going on. So Andrea looks through all of the email threads of the last week and compiles a report. The context that she has is a really great tip for making agents. Write yourself a who am I, who's my brand page, and link your agents to it. And then they'll always act with your principles, goals, beliefs, values, understanding of your wider context of your products. It's really brilliant. It totally transforms the quality of an agent. And essentially, she's got to like automatically analyze customer service emails and then drop a report in this page. She's got access to the knowledge base here of our products. So all of the answers about our different products that we sell.
Great.
And then a place to put it. And then there's also a hub where we get on our like Agent OS or Life OS big templates, people can send us feedback into on a Notion form. And so we'll often get stuff in there as well. So she'll check that as well for anything. And then she can look through, she has read-write access to the Notion email account. And then also we can ask her questions in Slack if we're like, oh, what happened last week? Is there anything we should worry about? So this is what she creates. I get a weekly report laying out how many problems how many things were responded to. Feedback.
Like more of just like a zoom out. Yeah.
And so if you go into is this one done it? Oh, this one's the only one that went wrong. So if I go into one, here you'll see she's like key metrics, trends, what we're finding from people, issues identified, that like successes, escalations, and then testimonials. And what's amazing about it is you then end up with like really fantastic, like I would be missing all these amazing comments, which we can now like just extract and put into our information, right? And it's like, it's also really good for me, just on a basis of like, great, it's what I understand the picture. I don't have to be in it, and I can be, okay, this is the trend. We do need to address this problem, but I didn't realize people were so happy with this. So thank goodness I can feel positive that product's going well. It really helps your mental health, man. It's great.
It does. Yeah. I mean, it's like a bit of a newspaper for you. Like, you don't need to know the ins and outs of it, but you just need the headlines and go in and read the report. So yeah. Oh, that's really, really cool. And I like as well that you can connect the form side of stuff too.
Yeah, that's a really cool like angle as well. Exactly. So like, you know, if we this hub, I want to give people this information. There's the form here just says give us agent OS feedback, and it's just accessible within the system, and it's really helpful, and it just means we can trace that back. But really good. I guess there's one other example I'd love to give you, because I think it's just worth reminding. You don't have to put all this in, right?
No, I mean, like, I'll shape it, but
yeah, exactly. But like, I think the thing to remember though about these, like, hang on, let me just get back out. I think the thing to remember about these custom agents is that, where have they gone? There they are. I think the thing to remember about these is they're really useful when you're automating stuff. But what's fascinating is I still think the majority of my work in Notion, we were all questioning, will a personal agent actually still be useful? And what's really fascinating is it genuinely does feel like this still remains unbelievably helpful, because you want to be able to continue to talk to an agent and work with them. And one thing that we have done is like, don't build. I think one of the great things to do with agents is build a database of knowledge on a particular subject that means that you actually can get yourself trained or get better at certain things. And that isn't for a custom agent. And like what I've absolutely loved is, for example, tell me about what you can help me with business strategy and online marketing. So if I ask my agent this is my like OS agent, this kind of conversation is really different to a personal agent. So it goes into my mode 7 and then it says, this is all my expertise. So I've built an agent with a database of information that it searches before it answers, and it can help me with my business. And it's been like having, I don't know, Alex Hormozy, not whether you love him or not, Alex Hormozy on your team as a like a strategist. It's amazing.
Yeah, like a thinking partner. Yeah.
I think that is really worth remembering. I think, it's really good.
It's really effective. Like, and if you've got it alongside the agents and you're feeding that information back in through, they're just going to get better. I've been doing the same. Like, it's definitely become like a business partner to my thinking, and it's a game changer really for that. Especially if you're solo or a few other people in the team and you're the one leading in the direction.